Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we're back. You know, time flies when you're having fun. The break is always great. You know, we've been speaking a lot about prudent people, but to get off that subject matter, we now are going to speak about Vaughan.
Welcome back to the Gina and Vaughan show, by the way.
I don't know if we should have a camera in the studio. I'm kind of nervous about that.
Yes. Yeah, when Gina comes in, it becomes X-rated.
Yes.
Stick with what you're good at.
I'm not sure everybody heard that, but that's okay.
Yeah, she said, stick at what you're good at.
No, I heard it. Thank you
for all the
repeating
listening
that.
audience, though.
So anyway, well, Vaughan kind of was doing a little segue
Teed
into
up
what he does, and he has a pretty amazing process by he gets rid of the, we'll call it mold, but we're not going to call it mold. So kind of talk about that process and what it looks like, especially for people who have just experienced getting a lot of water in their house and that fuzzy green stuff starting to grow.
That's right. That's right. What a lot of people panic when it comes to mold because we've had such
mold is coming.
bad experiences in the past with different hurricanes and things that have happened. I'm so glad we've got Tim O'Neill here on the show today from State Farm because he is an insurance expert. He can address a lot of these things. He's a wonderful guy to know, great relationship to have. And what I do is I actually go in and sterilize homes after there's been a water incursion or a flood like we've had recently.
Talk about the difference between mold remediation and what you do.
Mold remediation, as it plays out through protocol, state protocol, and what we know here in statutes from in Texas, really came from New York statutes, New York state law. And it doesn't have as much to do with protecting the consumer or protecting your home or making your home safe again as it does with limiting how much money can be paid out. It's more of a legal thing than it is a protection thing for the people. So there are different types of mold remediation that fit the bill in terms of what the state protocol says, but that doesn't mean you're not going to end up without mold in your home.
Yeah, when I was talking about agents, I remember one time they had it. They needed to have mold remediation. They had a handyman come out with a bottle of Clorox.
It still happens.
And it still happens.
Yeah, it still happens.
Of course, if you do use Clorox, it's a 10-to-1 solution. It's a living organism, and it actually will shut down with a full amount of Clorox. It'll actually shut down to protect itself.
It's a kind of a thing where if you're listening today and if you've had flood damage and if you're freaking out about it, you don't need to. Because the first thing you need to do is to get your home dried out. Rob, you mentioned there are some small pumps. You connect these little pumps to either an electric drill, a battery-powered drill, or if you have power, they can have these little electric pumps hooked up to a hose, and that'll get the water out of your house.
As long as the water outside isn't at 4 foot.
As long as the water
like
outside is lower than it is inside. That's right. And some people, unfortunately, didn't have that problem. So, but first you have to get the water out. You have to dry the place out. As soon as water hits sheetrock, you're going to start having a mold problem because gypsum in sheetrock is food for mold. So it's a problem. Now, what I do, insulation too is a problem. You really need to, if you've got water over the baseboards and up in the sheetrock, then what you really need to do is dry it out and probably, have somebody look at it. But it's good to cut the sheetrock off in an area of at least a foot above where it got wet because it will start growing mold. What I do is I come in and provide a sterilization treatment. It's electrocatalytic technology. It's not some sharper image or some alpine thing. It's a professional system that gets rid of surface and airborne pathogens. What people a lot of times don't understand is once you have mold, if you disturb the mold, it goes airborne, it sporulates, and it gets up in the ductwork, it gets in the condensation in the AC system, and it will continue to grow. I treated a house just the other day. One of the homes, one of the unfortunate people over off of North Braeswood that got a couple inches in their house. And when you walked in there 2 days after, it had a rank smell, and that is the pathogens that start growing right away.
We're going to be having a sporulation show in a little bit.
Yes, we will.
This feller uses a lot of big words.
He just rented that word today, so he's got to have it back tomorrow.
So they had a problem with this. I treated the home. I also offer a 12-month guarantee on the treatment. As long as you don't have additional water in the house, I'll come back and treat it again at no charge to make sure you're protected. This particular gentleman has a pregnant wife and 2 kids in the house, and the last thing he wants to do is get people sick. So this is the kind of work that I do. People will say, well, is that covered under insurance? That's something you need to talk to your insurance person about. However, the treatment that I do, actually, the wording on the invoice is antimicrobial, antifungal treatment to eliminate airborne and surface pathogens. Nowhere in there is the M word used. And
so that's just code for mold.
It's but but you don't say it.
I just got to playing this soccer game. I need you to come in and do this antifungal treatment, if you don't mind. Powder, that's it, right?
Powder. That's what you need. Actually, Vicks works for that. You use Vicks vapor. I'm serious. A lot of people don't know that, but I know it sounds like a joke. But this is what I do, and
Wow.
I'm very busy right now. I have a lot of homes. I just did a church over the weekend. They got a couple of inches of water in it. It had a really funky smell. They did a water extraction process in there to get the water out, dried it out. I came in and treated it. They're very pleased, very happy. And they have a
say
warranty.
Uptown will funk you up.
That's about right, in a Christian way. Yes. So there's there's a lot of people that have this problem, and I would just say if you're freaking out, because people freak out about mold, if you're really having an emotional heart attack about that, give me a call. Vaughan Pederson at Clean Air Services. It's CLEANEAIR Services. You can Google it. You can find me on the web there, or you can call me at 832-276-6000, and I will help you. I'll help you get what you need in order to be able to handle it. Go ahead.
I was also going to say, Vaughan, and this is for personal reference as well as my clients, Vaughan has taken care of not only my clients, buyers, sellers, but also my investors. I have a lot of investors that purchase tear down properties or where we have to gut it and rehab. And obviously the homes are water damaged and just really gnarly. And Vaughan will come in.
Term.
It is a technical term.
Gnarly.
And nary. Do you like nary better? And Vaughan will come in.
Nary one of them.
Absolutely. Vaughan will come in and provide his service. And obviously, investors are cheap. And for them to continue to use him over and over and over again, they
it's just
see
effective.
Exactly. They see the value.
Yeah.
I've had multiple clients that are selling their homes, and what we do there is have Vaughan come in and look at the ductwork. And one of my recent sales had black mold all over the ceiling. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And with the client also said that they have not been able to sleep. They've been sick. The entire family was sick. Waking up with cough and choking. And after Vaughan's treatment, the whole family said that was the first night that they were able to sleep. So it's
I remember
very
that. She
effective.
said that was the first night they slept all night. Yeah.
Yep. Very,
And
very
I know
effective.
that water is obviously the big topic right now, but it's also really worth mentioning that this is extremely effective with pet situations as well when you have some pet funk.
Exactly. The dreaded cat pee houses.
Yeah.
And
that
cat
was what I was
dander.
referencing.
This is the only technology I found, the clean air technology that I use, that actually will get rid of cat dander. If you have a listing and people come in and they love the house, but they're getting hives from cat dander in the area, it gets rid of that.
Also, food smells, things that get into the wall and gets absorbed in the
Burnt
wall.
curry, yeah.
Cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Do a lot of cigarette smoke.
Cigarette
Yeah.
smoke.
And
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
like, well, just paint it. And that just encapsulated. But since paint's porous, that smell comes back.
Even
about after
kills.
60 days, yeah.
In fact, we looked at one the other day that somebody tried to take kills to.
Yeah.
And it was a mess.
Yeah.
And, of course, stuff comes right back.
And this eradicates it completely.
Yeah. But I'm glad Gina's here this morning because I've done at least a dozen properties in the last maybe the last 6 months for customers. So it's good to have you here to speak to that.
And I can tell you also, I refer you out, and you taking care of my clients as well, and nothing but the highest of praise for you. I mean, you get in there, you were fast, you got it taken care of. I mean, and a lot of times individuals, they want to have somebody who can get in there, get this taken care of. It's not the easiest of processes, especially when Joe throws things on the ground like that. But
there's some stuff going on in Joe's corner.
happening in the back.
Joe's corner's
We're
got something going
remodeling
on right there. But I just going to give you a big shout out and let you know that everyone that I've ever referred you to has absolutely just spoken your praises, by the way. So.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thanks very much. It is the kind of thing where people have a tendency not to believe it until after I've treated a home for them, and then they they become a champion and tell other people about the service because it sounds a little too good to be true, but it's actually true.
We also have some clients that you visited with that their children have asthma, and even though they're buying a pre-owned home with no smells, they still want you to come in and perform just to make sure.
So Vaughan will come in and perform.
Yes.
That's right. I was thinking the same thing.
Yes, please.
Of course you were.
Yes. Being an accomplished trumpet player as well, by the way.
And I do get doctors will refer me to their patients with asthma or COPD or people undergoing cancer treatments because they have no immune system because this process sterilizes all the air in the surfaces and makes the home safe. Also, I think it's important to note that most homes are under $1,000. In fact, most of the homes I've been doing lately have been about $650. So it's way less than your deductible. You can avoid an insurance claim. It's good, and you get a 12-month warranty. So it's a win-win for you to help out. Not only when you have flooding situations and the calamity that we're facing now in Houston, but also just to be healthy for your kids' health and for your own health.
When you're talking about, of course, there's a lot of people that are advertising, they'll come out and clean your ductwork. So talk a little bit about that piece.
That can be a little dicey because when things are pushed through the ducts, you can actually separate the tape joints.
And the ducks don't like it either.
Ducks hate it.
Really hate it.
Yeah, they do. So, and a lot of times you just stir up everything that's in the ductwork, and then it becomes airborne, and then you got more of a problem.
That was a perfect spot for a goat scream.
I know. I got 3 good ones, and I can't use it any of them right now. But it's a kind of a thing where it's best to sterilize the home and not stir up a bunch of things that are going to be problems. Not separate tape joints in the ductwork, and it's ineffective. And tons of great references, many of which are on the show today.
Joe, dead air, your turn.
I don't know. I was still dealing with running things through ducts.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah, exactly. Just leave it to Vaughan right there.
Good
to
weather
ruin
for
all
ducks.
us.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But Vaughan, as we always say, though, is we bring experts on the show. And those experts know what they're talking about. One of the things we always hear, mold and mold remediation. But it's not only that. There's a lot of other aspects that I know and that I've heard of and that I've seen that you do and that take care of things. Pathogens come in all different forms, shapes, sizes, et cetera, et cetera. So, we are up against a break again. Time flies, you're having fun. I want to give a big shout out, by the way, again. Wayne, we've had several people comment how good you were on the first segment, by the way, especially some of your teammates up there in the Woodlands. So I just wanted to give
Wayne
a big shout
peeps.
out to you. Yes.
All right.
Wayne's peeps are listening in right there. Anyways, but we are coming up against a break. We have one more segment with the great Gina. Stay tuned. We'll be
Gina Devers.
back.
I've got a song that I sing. I can make the rain